turns a corner out of sight, looking for somebody.
Yep.
Somewhere in the night.
You should give away a Starbucks card. People guess the singer of the song. If Lene's brother's on here, Paul, he'd get the song. All right. Are we a minute away?
Good to go. We got a minute.
Just outside, there are people laughing, living lives we used to lead, chasing down the love they need.
All right. Sing it, Taylor. He loves Jackson Browne now.
All right.
See? Ask a harder one. That was cheating, though. She actually knew which one it was, though. All right. Welcome, everyone. This is the One Social Media weekly 3 o'clock show called The Social Truth.
I'm Rob Wormley, a project manager at One Social Media.
I'm Joe Soto, CEO of One Social Media. We're very excited to actually be indoors today.
That's right.
And not have the wind blowing in our back.
Yep, although I do miss the open road.
I do. You missed the cheese curds.
Yeah, that's right.
We had quite a run last week. We hit cheese curds. We hit Boyd's Bologna, famous for their ring bologna. Ultimately, we hit St. Louis. We let Taylor drive on the way back. And,
Guys, bad idea.
Rob and I are in the back working of the van. Taylor's driving through torrential downpour, I might add, though. So we'll give him that. And basically, we wake up at a rest area gas station, and I walk into the gas station, and I ask how far we are from the Iowa border, and the lady laughs because we took a wrong turn.
Yeah.
And we ended up in Kansas City.
We were going west instead of north that whole time.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So I took over from driving, and we made it home in a timely manner.
Yep.
What's the topic today?
Topic today is managing your online reputation using social media. That's the topic.
That's the topic. Okay, so there's two things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about how to manage your online reputation using social media, things to think about as a person, and then for those of you that are business owners, we got some really cool things in the store to introduce you to, particularly those of you that are relatively new to the social media world. You'll really love this today. We got some really valuable insight to give you. Let's start with, what are some tips you'd give somebody, Rob, who, particularly for people like you and I, just in general, for how we'd manage our own social media reputation or manage our online reputation?
Well, I just got to start off right off the bat. Before I even go into any details, the first thing that I would recommend is to Google yourself. If you've never put your own name in the Google search bar and hit enter, you need to. You need to do it right now, in fact, because you would be surprised the amount of information that shows up when you type in your own name. And that is the first step to managing your online reputation using social media, is to first figure out what's even on the internet about me. And so, never ceases to amaze me how many people have never Googled their own names. So that's definitely the first tip that I could give you in managing your social media presence, is Google yourself.
So why do you think that is? Do you think people just aren't conscious that there are sites out there that are going to pop up in Google, on Facebook, their LinkedIn profile and so on, and that people aren't looking for them? Or?
Yeah, I think people have a hard time realizing that, Google is going out to all the social media sites that you're on, and they're pulling things from your account. They're pulling your Twitter statuses, they're pulling things from Facebook, they're finding the pictures of you that your mom put on the family reunion blog last year, and they're finding it all and they're attaching it to your name. And I think people just don't realize that Google cares about anything about them that's on the internet. But if you think about it, you Google other people, I know you do, you just haven't thought to Google yourself. I don't know why, but when you Google other people, when you want to learn more about someone, that's the first thing most people tend to do is type their name into Google and see what they can find. So,
well, and think about those of you that are getting a job, or if you know anyone who's looking for a job, this is especially important. You know, when people apply to One Social Media, the very first thing that we do here is Google them. And not just the people that are interviewing them, but also the staff. If they know of a person who's interviewing, they go out, you guys go out and Google these candidates as well. And so it's not just about making sure you've got clean stuff. Like, right, you don't want to have a picture of you at the wildest party that you've ever been in with a lampshade on your head and half naked, right? That's probably not ideal. However, you do want to go out there to see that you have a presence that's well built out. So, for instance, it's almost just as bad for me to go to someone's LinkedIn profile and see something very lightly filled out, or maybe they're not even using Twitter, or they don't have a blog, or they're not using Facebook really to its potential, whatever it might be. When we're looking for people online, we're kind of gauging their online presence. Now, this is for a social media company, but other companies are doing this as well. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it's not enough to have created a Twitter profile or have to created a WordPress blog or to be on LinkedIn. You need to be, it's almost worse, actually, if you're not active on the site that you have launched for yourself, because that tells your future employer, the people who are trying to know more about you, that you don't even have enough time or commitment to promote yourself online. And so if you're trying to apply for a job that relates to social media, or you have a job with a company that's online, that has a presence online, you need to be consistently and genuinely updating those social media profiles.
I think it's entirely too difficult now to build relationships without having this done for yourself. In other words, if you're in sales, if you're a business executive, if you're a manager who goes out in the community in any way whatsoever and networks with people, when you network with people, you come back from an event or a seminar or a workshop or a local chamber event, people are taking your card, and what are they doing with your card? They're looking you up.
Yeah, they're
online.
They're jotting your name down and probably throwing your card away or putting it in their pocket and never looking at it again.
At most, though, they're going to go and they're going to find out about you online. Yeah. So they're throwing away your card, and they're hoping that you have an online presence. They're Googling you.
The thing about Google is you want to use Google as a tool to leverage yourself against your competition and against your competitors, whether it's a job that you're applying for or anything, because there might be some stuff on Google that you didn't wish was there, but what a lot of people don't realize is that if you invest in social media, you can actually proactively promote yourself on Google, because once you get on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn, those social media sites are going to populate toward the top because they're changing so often. And gradually, the older stuff that you're not so happy about on Google associated with your name is going to push down, go to page 2, even page 3. But it requires a lot of work on your part, because it doesn't just happen just by starting a Facebook profile or signing up for Twitter. You need to actively be promoting yourself on these social media sites, or at least starting conversations with other people.
Yeah, and I had this instance happen to me a couple of years ago. I had a gentleman come to me, and he says, Joe, and this is right before we really started One Social Media, and he says, my goal is to manage my online reputation, and I need to do it through social media, because he had some negativity on Google show up when he Googled his name. And over a period of months, we were able to push all the negative stuff off the first 2 pages of Google by kind of oversaturating his presence in social media, by setting up his Facebook, his Twitter, his LinkedIn, his We set up a couple blogs for him. So that way multiple blog posts would show up when you search for his name and so on. So it's very valuable, but it takes hard work, it takes time and effort, it takes consistency. Yep. And you want to commit yourself to doing it. So here's what I want to give everybody some opportunity to think about as well, is that it's not just about yourself, but it's also your business you want to also manage. And we're going to give you some tools to make it easy for you to keep track of what's also being said about you, because from time to time people may make a blog post. If you're a company, people are talking about your company, or even monitoring not just your reputation but also your competition. So let's move and shift gears a little bit, and in a minute we'll introduce a tool that'll help the individual and the company be able to manage their online social media reputation. So let's talk about a couple of the tools that we use here at One Social Media, and also maybe even some additional ones that we'd recommend people using. To start with, we're going to pull up a slide here so you can see some of these yourself. One of them is, of course, Hootsuite, which is the very similar to TweetDeck. There are some differences between Hootsuite and TweetDeck. I like and prefer Hootsuite. Rob likes and prefers TweetDeck. That's because we've really gotten used to the one that we've worked with the most.
Yep.
But on a daily basis, I use Hootsuite personally, and I'll let you talk from how you use it personally.
Sure.
I use Hootsuite daily as a social media dashboard for me to monitor my Facebook, my Twitter, and my LinkedIn, all from the same dashboard site. And this is both of my Twitter profiles, both of my Facebook page, and my Facebook profile, and as well as my LinkedIn profile. I can see it all in one dashboard, and it makes it really simple for me to manage. More importantly, I can pay attention to who's mentioning me on Twitter, for example, in the mention section of Hootsuite. And that's one tool, one way. It's really just a first level step to managing your social media reputation in real time. Would you have some things to add in terms of TweetDeck as well?
Sure. I'd just like to say, in general, with sites like these, Hootsuite and TweetDeck, there are two really cool things that you want to think about. The first thing is, not only can you manage and listen to what's being said about you on social media using these sites like Joe talked about, but you can also update your status from these sites too. So when you do see that someone has mentioned you on Twitter, you don't have to go to your browser and log into Twitter and find their profile and tag them. You can do it all from this browser, from Hootsuite or TweetDeck. It's really easy. It's a one-click step. Makes your updates look really nice. And the other cool thing that I wanted to mention is both of these sites, correct me if I'm wrong, both of these sites offer mobile apps too for users who decide to use them. So you don't even have to have a computer to know what people are saying about you online and on social media sites. You just download the app. You have a smartphone, download the app, Hootsuite or TweetDeck, log in with your information, and you can get all that from your phone. So the next time you're waiting for a meeting to start, just log into Hootsuite or TweetDeck and just look over and see what people...
Free.
It's free too, and so look what people are... I mean, saying that you're too busy to find out what people are saying about you on social media is a horrible, horrible thing to say, because it's so fast and it's so easy to do, and the tools are free and they're just out there for you to use. So you need to take advantage of them and use the mobile apps if you're comfortable with your smartphone, but there are dashboard apps for your MacBook, and you can just go straight to the site too. So they're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to complete those interactions with people who are talking about you or your company on social media sites.
And as we talk about some of these additional tools, for your iPad too. I use it. We talked about using it for mobile. I was on my iPad the other day, and someone said, "What's your favorite app?" I said, "My favorite app is Hootsuite, because I can manage my Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, everything from my Hootsuite app on my iPad." Let's move on to the second one, and this is one that I'm very fond of, and it's called Social Mention. SocialMention.com is much like Google Alerts. You can really use either or in this case, but Social Mention is primarily social media monitoring for just the social sites. So I can manage anytime somebody's bringing my name up, my company's name up. I just put in the keywords. It's also free to use. So anytime, and imagine this, anytime someone types in your name, types in your company name, types in maybe an industry-specific keyword, for us it might be social media news or social media training and things like this, or even your competition. If you've got competitors you're trying to keep track of, monitor, keep up to date on, maybe monitoring their blogs as they come out, you can have it. So Social Mention is set up to send you a daily email. I love it.
Yep.
Every day, before I go to sleep, I always check my social mentions on my phone. I get emailed my social mentions right on my iPhone, and I can see where I'm being brought up in social media, where our company's being brought up, our competition, and so on.
Yeah, so Social Mention is really cool because, it only takes a little bit of work. You can change your keywords. You can alter what you want to find. But the nice thing is they're going even further than TweetDeck and Hootsuite. They're sending the information right to your email. So you don't even have to log into these sites or download the apps. You're already getting it to your email. And the other benefit, like Joe talked about, was it's not just your profiles. It's your competition. It's your partners, the businesses that you partner with. It's everything. It's whatever you want. So Social Mention is a really effective, useful tool to use for listening to what is being said about you online.
And TweetBeep, some people like TweetBeep, and I'm kind of I got mixed emotions about TweetBeep, but I do like it for this reason. And most people don't realize this about TweetBeat, but it does, of course, monitor your tweets and your mentions and your keywords on your Twitter or anywhere in the Twitter universe. So anytime you're being mentioned in the Twitter universe, TweetBeat's going to let you know about it. And here's the cool feature about it, Rob. It actually notifies you hourly. It gives you hourly digests.
Very cool.
And on an hourly basis, you'll know if somebody's talking about you, your company, or if you've got keywords of your competitor in there. You've got that in there, and you're kept almost in real time, mobilely kept informed through the email, through TweetBeat. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice because it's doing the work for you, because we understand you're in meetings all day, you're meeting with clients, you're doing other things, and so you don't always have the time to sit on Twitter and wait for people to say things about you. But what this tool does is it goes out, it scans Twitter, and it finds those messages for you, and it sends it to you so that you don't miss something that your customer or one of your clients says about you on Twitter who's looking for a little interaction from you.
And all of these, some people prefer Google Alerts, but Google Alerts doesn't seem to catch it all.
Yeah.
Social mention, I find, catches more mentions of us than Google does. There's certain algorithms, I think, that Google runs through to ultimately end up searching and finding certain keywords related to it, and it misses things. So I actually have a Google Alerts account and a social mention account, so I can kind of capture it and get everything encompassed in a daily digest through my email every single day. You have some insight on that?
Yeah, that's the thing. You want, even though all these tools are great, you don't want to just focus on one. So like Joe said, you want to have accounts set up on multiple sites that are doing this feature or this service for you, going out and finding what people are saying about you. And in addition to going to Google and actually searching your name or your company name, if you are really interested in learning what people are saying about you, you have to attack this from multiple sites, and you need to understand that they're not going to catch everything, so it's more beneficial for you to be on social mention and on Google Alerts, because that's just a better chance of you catching a message that's posted about you online.
Correct. And it's your online reputation, so you have to ask yourself, how is it worth it? What's my reputation worth? What's my online reputation worth? What do I want to be known as when somebody Googles me? What do I want people to find when they find me? These are important questions that we don't ask ourselves enough. And then expanding that to your company. When someone Googles your company, what do you want them to find? Mm-hmm. When someone searches for any employees of yours, what do you want them to find? You know, if I'm a CEO of a large company, I might set up Google Alerts for several of my employees or have my divisional managers do it for departments so they can keep track of what's being said about their employees, because that's all encompassing and part of their overall company social media reputation. And I know that we've actually discounted job candidates because of what we've found by watching how they poorly manage their own presence online. We have learned a lot about competitors. We've learned a lot about companies and prospects that I've even alerted myself to. I've had a couple prospects that we're trying to earn the business of, and so in order to keep up to date on different things going on with their company, I'll add them to my social mention so I know to respond to different things that are going on in their business, and ultimately after them seeing that I've cared, that I've actually paid attention to the new developments with their company, or I'm staying, at least in their eyes, abreast of the things going on about their company, just because I'm getting Google alerts on them or whatever it might be, all of that can lend an advantage to you.
Yeah, and I would just say, I mean, if you think that using services like this or spending time listening to what's being said about you on social media isn't worth it, you got to look at the bigger brands. You got to look at the Fords and the Starbucks and all those bigger brands who are going out of their way on social media to catch as many of the conversations as they can and to interact and to show their customers and their clients and their partners that they do care about what's being said about them on social media and they're being proactive about it. And the other thing to understand is that your Google search results aren't set in stone. It's fluid. It's always changing. And so you can really, if you put the time and the effort into it, you can really change the way people see you when they search your name or your company on Google. Even though you think it might be, you know, it's up there, it's permanent, it's on page one, I can't do anything about it, I want to discourage people from searching my name on Google, all you have to do is work a little bit, and you'd be hugely surprised in how much of a difference you can make on your Google search if you just invest in social media and invest in listening and interacting with your community and customers. Okay, so you had another thing that you wanted to mention today on the show, or this was it? I think that was it. Okay, good. Listen, I want to tempt them
with just one thing, so that way they'll tune in next week, Rob, because this is going to be a special episode next week. Listen to this. One of the things we've recently discovered is a couple of tools. And I would venture to say that one or both of these tools are social media tools you haven't engaged in yet, you haven't used yet, to help you measure the reach of all your tweets. Every time you're tweeting, every time you're posting, every time you're trying to kind of get out there and ultimately build your social influence, we've got a couple of tools we're going to introduce to you so you can kind of gauge your social influence online. And those tools to gauge your social influence online, you don't want to miss out on next week. You're gonna be able to talk about that next week. So I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be gone, but Rob's gonna commit to talking about those next week. He's excited. Introduced him to one of our clients this past week, and I think he about fell off his chair.
Yeah, you don't want to miss these new websites that we're using here at One Social Media. They will knock your socks off.
And you might want to share it with the rest of our team too. Have you been keeping that secret?
Slowly.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.